afternoon. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Amazing, thanks. Great to have you, and thanks for joining us here on the Thursday COVID Freedom Sessions. We look
Nice.
forward to it this week. We have one topic, as you know, and you and I've been friends for a while, and we're really excited to have you on talking about joy. I know you're very passionate about it, especially
Oh,
during this
absolutely.
this time like COVID. And so what do you see as joy being a key to get through COVID? What as a tool to get through COVID? What you're thinking about it?
Hi, guys. I'm Charles Duncan Waterman. Let me tell you something. Every day I wake up with this saying. I say, "Rejoice in the Lord always." And again, I say, "Rejoice." So when you set the tone of joy in your life every day, when you wake up with the attitude of gratitude and say, "I am so pleased and so excited to be alive, to be awake today. I give joy for whatever is around me," because I believe we're all pregnant. We're all pregnant with the spirit of joy, right? As you know, when you have a little baby, when a little baby starts out, a little baby knows nothing but pure joy. That's what's inside of all of us. But as we grow older, we let the system and the society and our friends and our family kind of beat that out of us, right? So that
Mhm.
sometimes we forget to be joyful and go to that place of joy. So it's really a matter of making the choice to say today, I am blessed. I am excited, right? So don't forget the words that follow I am follows you. So you want to set the tone within yourself to make sure that you set the day and the whatever is coming out of your day, you want that to be positive, joyful, and of course enlightening and where others will benefit essentially.
Wow, that's a great perspective. What you're thinking, Phil?
I think it's beautiful, beautiful to set this to set the tone and the vibration in the morning, and rejoice in the Lord. Again, I say rejoice. That's
Absolutely.
when I heard you say that, like my spirits got uplifted in that place, and as as we were talking a little earlier around knowing when we're in that joy space, there's a feeling, I'm gonna call it a flooding feeling for using biblical references, flooding, just a flooding of sensation and tingles, and the breath changes, and then the warmth happens, and then we come alive in that joy space. And I was asking you a little earlier around, like, what is that in yourself, that you remember, maybe the first memory of joy that you ever had. And another piece of that, you said, we are pregnant with joy, and that to me says that is our responsibility to birth the joy, and it is not up to somebody else to help birth that joy, which is brilliant and beautiful. So I'm curious, very curious around your life and your experience. Maybe you could just tell us the first time that you experienced joy in your life, and then what that was like for you.
Wow. I don't know if I can remember the first time I experienced joy, but one of the more memorable feelings of joy would have to be the birth of my firstborn child, right?
Mm.
The birth of Alex. When Alex was born back in '92, there was this overwhelming flood, like you said, that overwhelming flood of joy. And that's really where I came from with that whole phrase of giving birth to your joy, because in essence, um, Alex's mom, Anne, gave birth to the joy that came into our family, into our life, right? So in essence, she gave birth to Alex, who in essence provided joy or helped to build the joy and gave us permission, in essence, to look within ourselves and find that joy that we also need to give birth with. So I think a lot of it came from that experience. So I would have to say that was one of the more memorable, because the first one I can't really quite remember.
Okay, but that's a beautiful experience, and the most memorable one, I would say, I would consider that the first one. Anyway, so thank you for sharing that, your son and your joy. And I remember when my eldest son was born, and that joy sensation that I felt, and like you said, it gave me permission to really look inside and get to my own inner child, which was a great reflection in when we see our children. How do we play? How do we find joy? How do we find excitement? How do we find excitement? When I'm 40, I'm going to be 49 this year. How do I still continue to light that fire inside? And what is that? What is that for you, Chris? What does that look like?
Well, it's a great question on joy, and I had a little tear there with Charles reminding me of my twin boys being born. And yeah, that first time, that definitely is a feeling of joy for sure. And I've had many joyful moments. I'm trying more to find joy every day. And there's certain times when because when you find joy, and I've even talked to someone today who hasn't found joy. She's being super successful in her business and everything's going well. She's a bit overworked, and then she has resentment for herself because she's so busy. And I'm like, I'm glad you're aware about you have this feeling of how you're feeling, and you have but I don't like to see you in a place of resentment. You should be in a place of joy, I said, right? And it's so important to find those places of joy. And the one thing I find that I feel when I have that joy, and it's usually when I get a traffic ticket. Like if I have a lot of joy, I feel light, I feel carefree, and then I don't pay attention sometimes, and it ends up I get a traffic ticket because I'm going too fast. But I'm just having joy. It's like I'm not paying attention. So I have this lightness. There's this lightness feeling around joy and happiness, but it's just more than happiness. It's joy. It's like a next level, And I'd like to ask Charles, sometimes in life, though, we get all these things happening with us and we're not able to maybe manage them the way we want, and the balance of our life gets offset and you lose that joy. What's a strategy or something that you can do to ignite or spark joy in your life? What would you suggest? What do you do?
I've got this one phrase. It's Romans. It's from Philippians 4, actually. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. Rejoice always. So there's certain biblical scriptures that are placed on my heart that I go back to from time to time. That is definitely my go-to phrase. Rejoice in the Lord always. So that means whether things are good, whether things are bad, whether things are going well, whether I get that parking ticket that you spoke about, whether I get into an accident, you always say, what's good about this? And why is this happening for me as opposed to why is this happening to me? So we try to determine, try to look and see. Don't forget, if we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change, right? So to me, I try to make sure that I put joy at the heart of all of the things that are happening. As a real estate agent, we've got a lot of challenges right now with our clients finding an affordable home, because the prices of real estate here in the GTA have really become a little bit prohibitive. So again, sometimes we're putting in offers with clients and they're disappointed, but then I always find that it's up to me to try to instill in them that level of confidence and that level of hope, that level of joy, to know that, what, this one didn't work, but the next one will. There's something about this one that wasn't for you. God has a better one for you, right? So let's just keep moving forward. And I think that that's really what it is, because it works for me. And I believe that if we can share that with others and give them that sense of hope, that they will see it as well.
Oh, beautiful.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. It's a form of real estate therapy. It's beautiful because it's finding a home is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Finding that space, and then having you as a guide to find that sacred space that you can blossom in, nourish yourself in, love yourself in, love each other in. That's a beautiful, beautiful place to be in, where you can provide that space. So I'm going to thank you right now for your work that you're doing for people and helping them find their spaces.
Yeah, thank you, Charles.
Well, to add to that, we're seeing during COVID, and the purpose of this, of course, is joy during COVID. We're seeing that during the past year, today, as we celebrate 1 year in essence of this major awareness and this major shift in our lives. Don't forget, it was a year ago today that we started to really, um, you know, take this thing quite seriously. But we've noticed that as it related to homes and joy, that people who lived in small spaces before, um, they just started to bond closer as a family. And this is really one of the things I wanted to elaborate on today was what I call the four F's, right? The faith, family, and fitness, and finance. So with all those things, if all those things are in line, I believe that that's where you will find joy, because that's what I've noticed this year for families who have been confined to a space. They found strength in their faith, and those who didn't have faith was created for them, or they were able to give birth to their own faith, because they realized that, you know what, we are not in control here, right? So through prayer and through protection and support from both family and government, we saw lots of families really coming together and becoming a lot more conscious of their role of faith in their lives. A lot of people who suffered sicknesses, a lot of people who had loved ones who lost, for example, they turned to God for their support. They turned to their faith for their support. And if they didn't turn to their own faith, they certainly had the faith and support of their network and from their friends, right? The
Yeah.
second one, of course, would be your family and fitness. Because of COVID and we having to be confined to our homes, we found things to do. We went on YouTube and found great fitness videos to get involved in. I started picking up yoga, for example, right? Uh, that kind of stuff, right? I mean, and that bonded us, because your kids are seeing you now on the same plane. They're seeing you, that even though you might be the powerhouse in the family, you can't touch your damn toes, right? I, I don't care
Mhm.
how powerful you are. You can't touch your toes, man. You know what I mean? You're bending your knees, you're breaking your back. The next morning, you can't take the stairs because you're old, right? So,
Yeah.
That's it. That's
so
it. And you bring
yeah,
up.
so that got the family really close together during this period, right? So again, you saw the energy being really cultivated in the family unit being built. So then we move that into finances now, right? And the finances being for those who had a home that was too small and they had level of equity, they were able to take some of that equity and move up to a larger home, move out of the city. You're seeing some of that right now where people are moving out of the GTA into the more remote, a little bit further out into the Durham area, further east, further north, further west. People have started to move to their cottages, for example, and start to work from home. So we're seeing a lot of that now, and and I'm so happy to have been very instrumental in being able to help people transition from whether they live in a smaller home to a larger home, or whether they move from a condo into a home, that type of thing, right? So I
Wow, that's great.
really thought that there was a lot of blessings that came out of this so far.
Yeah, and joy's a big part of that. So if you line those four F's, then it allows you then to elevate your joy and find joy easier. And welcome to Olympia, who's joined us. Where are you coming in from, Olympia, today?
From Greece, Athens.
From Athens. Well, welcome from Athens. Pleasure to have you. And
Thank you for
Phil,
having me.
one of the things I know that I use in my life during COVID to find joy is music. And I'm wondering if you have some joy you can share with us and lift us up into joy.
I do. I was going through songs for the from the discussion, and I picked this one. I want to see what you guys think. this song. And Charles, like one of the things that you said about with your kids and the working out and things like that, I've heard that this has been framed as the great equalizer. So this that has happened. There is no there's no more, well, there's still hierarchy, but it's dissolving right in front of our eyes, and that's scary for a lot of people. So I love that you said that, because we are all the same, and we all have something to share and something to offer. My children have their wisdom, so I'm spending a lot of time with my children right now, and they are so wise. If I take the time to listen to them, and when I allow them to call me out, and I stand up and actually have the conversation with them, it's brilliant. Like, I learn something, and to see their eyes light up, because it's like I called Dad out,
Yeah.
So I wanted to sing this for the dads out there.
Child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking before I knew it. And as he grew, now I'm gonna be like you, Dad. I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, the little boy blue and the man in the moon. But when you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, son. We'll go and have a good time then. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball deck, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, you got a lot to do. He said, that's okay. He walked away and his smile never dim. He said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah. I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, the little boy blue and the man in the moon. Or when you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. We're gonna have a good time then. Well, he came from college just the other day, so much like a man, I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you, can you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them, please? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, the little boy blue and the man in the moon. But when you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good time then. Long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said, I'd love to, Dad, if I could find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids have the flu, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, the little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. We're gonna have a good time then.
Yeah,
Harry
right on.
Chapin.
Thank you for that.
You're
Beautiful.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks for that share.
That song brings up so many feelings, inside of me. Remembering what my dad was like, and his dad was like, and then what is happening now, and the differential that's occurring. Right now, it's like it's bringing so many sensations and feelings up. It's amazing. It's brilliant.
Good. What came in for you during that song, Charles?
The Man on the Moon.
The Man in the Moon.
The Man on the Moon. That
Yeah.
is that song. I'm not sure we'll be together again. You're just speaking of hope, really, and joy again, because you're saying, you know, we will meet each other again, right? And to some, it might appear as though it is a dream, like there is a man on the moon, like a fictitious story as such. But we will see our fathers again. I will see my dad. I'm certainly channeling his ear. My dad used to have an ear like this, right? And I've kept it during COVID a little bit, just after Christmas. And every time I put my hand through my hair, I think about my dad, right? So my mom, I didn't really know my mother. She died when I was 5. I have actually really no memories except for that night that she left home to have our baby sister which took their lives. Both of them died during childbirth.
Wow, sorry to hear that.
No, I appreciate it. Chris. But again, I will see those guys again. I will see my
Yes,
sister.
you
I don't
will.
know who she is. I have 5 sisters alive right now. And my youngest sister, she died with my mom back in 1963. But this song was just a very calm, very very hopeful type of song, and you sung it so well, brother. I mean, you got a great voice, and the sound of the guitar was very, very calming and peaceful. Thank you for that gift, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sharing. And what about for Olympia? Did anything come out for you, Olympia, through that song?
I never have ever heard it. Never.
Oh,
But it was very sweet, very